Okay, in this video I just want to show you a few of the options that are behind the way that this site actually appears. So things like how is it that the social icons are appearing in the site, and whether or not you want it to appear up the top here, you want them to appear vertically, or you want them to appear further down the page. Even the general color of your font on the page, a lot of this can actually be set as defaults through the options panel. So just looking at those options now, we have a whole lot of different options here that you can modify to your needs. We do offer templates to get you started, so that it's just a base, so you don't have to from the beginning come in here and add all of your own changes in here. So having those templates just means that you don't necessarily have to go through and change absolutely everything that's in here. The type of things that we see in here are things like your font types, so whether you want it to be Arial, for instance, as a general font type, you can put that in there. The color of the font, so if you decide you want to go for a dark color for the background, then you come in here and you're going to want to change it to a lighter colored font so it appears better on the dark background. You can see here that the way that we've got it set as a default is to have the black color for the font type, which works better on the lighter backgrounds. So then we move on to the header. This is where we can set the height of the header. We can decide whether or not we're going to have text in the header, whether we're going to have upload our logo, the position of the logo in the header. You can, if you don't have an image background that you're going to upload, then you might select to just have a background color for the header that you select, and then we've got options for just applying a texture to that color, so it's not just a flat color. The slideshow, there's an option to display the slideshow on every page, or you can turn it off, and this is where you can actually set a background for your slideshow. So if it's going to be a full width slideshow, obviously you wouldn't need to have to worry about the background because it will be covered anyway, but if you actually want a smaller slideshow, so then you have a featured background area, then this is where you can upload that background, and that's where all the settings are in there. So you can set the padding of the slideshow, so it doesn't, for instance, if it's smaller than the full width, it doesn't align to the left. You have the option of making it align to the center. Okay, main navigation, a lot of the same options for background colors, background image if you want a background image for the menu, and you've got the option of how you repeat it. So for instance, if it's going to be the same all the way across your menu, for instance it might be a horizontal gradient, so it's darker at the top, lighter at the bottom. You don't need an image that's 810 pixels wide, it could just be 1 pixel wide, and then you repeat it in the y-axis so that it repeats across the page. Okay, and then you've got the options for having a background to your menu item, the color of the link, the text in your button. So if you might choose to have a transparent background for your button, and then so it takes on the effect of the menu background. Submenu, there's options for the submenu, so how that appears when it drops down. Full width page, we have the option for a full width page or a page template that has a sidebar in it. So this is where you can control that as well, so we can upload an image for the background, and I've actually shown that on another video for creating your look from scratch, so you can have a look at that, how I've uploaded the different background images to create a new look. So with sidebar, so this is really where you can really get down to controlling for instance, whether the sidebar is on the left of the page or the right of the page. There's some blog options as well. You have the ability to have a blog in Facebook. I personally would tend to go towards having a blog in my website and then driving people to my website from Facebook, because ultimately most of the sales you really want to have happen out of your website, not out of Facebook. Footer widgets, so you have the option to style the background to a footer widget area, so that's where you can add in different types of content into your footer. Just a standard footer, which is just a bar along the bottom where you can put in, for instance, your copyright text. Social icons, so here we can choose whether it's the position is relative to the header, relative to the footer, the alignment to left or right of the page, the distance from the left or the right of the page, the position of the icons relative to the header or footer in terms of pixels, and whether you want it to display horizontally or vertically down the page. And this is where you can actually add your social icons. So for instance, this one, like if you only want to show Twitter, LinkedIn and Google Plus, for instance, then you would only fill out 3 of the social icon options, and then you just add the link in. For instance, if this was, say, your Twitter, you uploaded the Twitter icon there, then you would have the link to the to your Twitter page. Custom codes, that's for if you're a little bit more know what you're doing in terms of adding code. So if you're some kind of web developer, the page 404, your typical page not found, so that's where you can enter in your own message. And here's where all the Facebook options come in. So if you want to have a like reveal, then you create the page that you want to have people see it first, and then once they like the page they will see something different. So that's where you do it in there. There's a few default languages that we've got in here. This is where once you've created an app, you would add your app ID and Facebook secret, your URL to your Facebook page, and just some of the Facebook settings that we've added into this this system. This is where you can actually set a default. So when you add these functions to a page, if you decide not to individually set the options there, then it will just autofill these generic options. So I think that about shows most of the features of the way that a lot of your site is controlled.